Hey everyone, good evening. Today I want to talk about tension. It relates closely to thesis statements, but in general it applies to analysis. And we'll also look at if analysis, because one of the things that we're going to look at is, do we do if analysis? For instance, like if not, if something isn't that way, do we want to explore those possibilities? And we will look at those two things. The if not analysis is a good prep for our upcoming essay revolving around Greek allusions in Cyrano. And one of the things that I want to help us avoid revolves around the idea of if analysis. So we'll take a look at that as well. Let's have a look at tension first, though. Tension is quite simply tension between two ideas. Okay? One of the reasons why I mentioned Mr. Steinhauser and the cookie cutter thesis is that's what I call it. But one thing that's really nice about the thesis is it has a format that creates tension. So here might be idea 1 and here might be idea 2. And you might begin this with although, and then this would be your kind of statement because, these, although blankety blank, blankety blankety blank because blank, okay? And essentially what you've done is you've introduced idea 1, okay? Idea 1, and it looks like ideal, sorry, idea 1, and that comes here. And essentially, idea 1 is in tension with, so, gosh, how can I write tension? I can't really, let me see. I can't really think of how I think I can draw tension like this. It's in tension with ideas 2 and 3. And with this tension, you're essentially saying that out of these ideas, because 3, 2, 1, idea 2 and 3 are above idea 1. They are superior, okay? And what that does is it frames your analysis. Your analysis will focus on saying why ideas 2 and 3, like if you were to, let's say, include those in your thesis, again, with this type of model, okay, 2 because 3, okay, that essentially your essay, the bulk of your essay, your analysis is on why these ideas right here are superior to this one, okay? So let's have a look at that, and I want to give you an example. In many of your essays, you pointed out how in Cyrano's hate is a choice. Okay? There's this volitional act. Oh, and by the way, isn't the new pen tip size smiley face? I mean, it just makes my writing look so much neater. Oh, gosh. Boy. So Cyrano's hate is a choice for him. However, for Hazlitt, his hate is not a choice. Okay? So watch this. Just by itself, I don't think we can create a thesis off of this, but I want to show you tension, okay? You could say something like this. Let me write it first. Hold on. Okay, so I started running out of space, but here's just a way to try to set up tension. As I was writing it, I'm like, I want to write more, but kind of started doing with a pen, and now I'm stuck. I'm stuck within these walls right here. I'm in a box. Ugh. They need to make a bigger iPad. No. So let's break this down a little bit. I'm trying to set up tension between this notion of, again, I don't think I have it fully explained like I would like to. But let's just see how if I can explain the tension. Although Hazlitt's hate is natural, it is not. It is more difficult to carry out than Cyrano's. Okay, essentially, the tension is uh, between Cyrano's hate and so the choice and Hazlitt's hate. And I suppose if we were to add the bit for the because, you might say something like, although Hazlitt's hate is natural, it is more difficult to carry out than Cyrano's because Cyrano's is more specifically targeted toward enemies, or I don't know. Like even that's still a little bit more vague, but I hope you're seeing the idea where even within this kind of setup, I'm trying to set up the tension using the word although. First of all, we're making this a subordinate clause, subordinate, dependent, very they're synonyms for one another, and so this second part following the comma is the part that essentially your analysis is going to focus on and elevate, but what you're also doing is creating tension, okay? And tension can be described as, could someone disagree with you? Okay, let me write. Tension is this. Tension. Let's translate it. Could someone disagree? And one more time. Arguable, meaning the opposite of arguable would be essentially fact. So is it not fact? Okay? Fact would be something like plots. Fact would be something like, I don't know, like if I said something like, Cyrano gets really mad sometimes, that's a fact. But if I said something like, Cyrano would rather be upset than happy, or no, I'm sorry, Cyrano would rather be upset than at ease. Very good. One might even say that when he's at ease, the reason why he might not enjoy that is because he's probably hungry. Alright? I mean, hey, when you're engaged in an activity, you're not really thinking about your stomach, and we know from some of the details, like in Act 1, he, just ate a little bit off of that waitress's cart or tray thing. And so what I'm hoping you're starting to see is that it's not fact, is it arguable, and could someone disagree with it? Okay? If someone were to read the text, would they see that same thing, or would it actually be a new idea? So that is a big part of tension. Let me then, this last point, when you talk about your Greek illusion analysis, one thing that I want you to avoid is this type of thinking. If it wasn't there, okay? So said in a different way, add a what before there. What if it wasn't there? Like how much would be lost, you can say that maybe like once, like in a sentence, but you don't want to make the bulk of your analysis on what ifs. Avoid what if it wasn't there analysis. Instead, focus on what is there. What is significant about it being there? Do, okay, what is there? Like what is in fact there and how is it significant? Okay. For instance, a huge one for me is the Ajax and Ulysses. Ooh, I don't know how to spell the Ulysses and how we spell Odysseus, but I think that's right. And what's really significant about this Ulysses and Ajax reference revolving around crying is that for me, because there, it begins to do more. For instance, it begins to redefine male stereotypes. And with that, Cyrano can redefine masculinity in general. Okay? Now, I realize that Cyrano de Bergerac as a play is not like feminist by any means. I mean, they put, a woman in distressful situations and like, oh, I'll save her. De Guiche does that, I will not desert a lady in danger. Blah. I mean, first of all, lots of eye rolls ensue after that, but also that's very traditional. Cyrano, though, is starting to challenge some of those, ideas. For instance, Christian was the one who brought it up, and he's a very traditional guy. He's like, hey, you want to make out? Roxanne is repulsed by that forward and kind of physical emphasis. But that's also very stereotypically male. Cyrano, on the other hand, does that in so many different ways. So, I mean, that is like one place where that's not in the text, and you're analyzing the significance of what is there. And I used a Greek allusion. So avoid the what if it wasn't there analysis, and make sure there's tension in your piece. All right, we'll do some activities to try and practice developing tension when we see each other next time. Good day.